Everyone talking about underconsumption.
The underconsumption trend.
Underconsumption.
Underconsumption.
I want to throw away all of my stuff.
I'm banning myself from buying makeup until I'm done every single last drop of what I already own.
I want to talk about this trend called underconsumption core. If you missed it, all over social media we are seeing content creators, influencers, and average people flaunting things like an eyeshadow palette that they've had for 3 years, a blush that they've hit pan on, a fragrance that they actually used up, and how to get every last bit of lip gloss out of the tube. Is this a trend or is this normal life? I've gotten a couple of requests to cover this topic, so in this video, I'm gonna be giving you guys my 2 cents, not only as a non-minimalist, as you can see behind me, but also as a luxury beauty influencer. Why is this trending? What behavior have I seen from my own subscribers? How do I feel about it? And what does this mean for the luxury and beauty communities? Oh, and by the way, while we chat, I'm also gonna be showing you guys how I got this look today with a bunch of favorite, totally not new makeup for my collection that I feel like using just because. Let's get into it. I'm gonna kick off this look with the Natasha Denona High-Gen Skin Glass as my primer. I have not used this in ages and it's very expensive, so I wanna use it up in honor of this video. So what is underconsumption? Underconsumption in its simplest form is consuming less. It's using up your moisturizer before you buy a new one. It's hitting pan on your blush. It is using an eyeshadow palette that you've had for years. It is making sure you don't buy the same shade of nude lipstick over and over just because you want to try the new formula. Underconsumption can also be doing your research so that maybe you buy one nice thing instead of like 3 or 4 not very nice things that aren't going to really work out for you or maybe are lower quality just because you want to try new products. And I also want to note this is not just a trend in the beauty industry. This is happening in a lot of different niches across social media. We're seeing people get really crafty with their wall art. We're seeing people sewing holes up in their clothes so that they can wear them longer, upcycling furniture, minimizing and streamlining their pantry, all kinds of stuff so that they don't have to purchase new things, maybe new things that they don't need. And actually, it's interesting. This is kind of like the first time some of you guys are asking me about this in regards to beauty, because over the past couple of months, as somebody that watches a lot of luxury fashion content, I feel like I've seen a lot of commentary videos about this. Not necessarily this specific hashtag, but we're seeing a lot of luxury fashion YouTubers, like big ones, going full on minimalist, like selling all my bags, I'm finished with luxury, like no logos, super minimalist, only what I need, quality over quantity, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is a little kind of a shift from what we've seen over the past couple of years. And there's been a lot of commentary videos about it, like what is the state of luxury? Is luxury dead? I feel like I'm watching more is luxury dead videos than I am videos actually about like bags and reviews and the fashion shows and the things that I actually want to hear. It is kind of a lot of doom and gloom, I'm not going to lie. For my base, I'm going in with the Merit Complexion Stick. I thought it would be fun to use a minimalist brand in a video about underconsumption. Get it? Get it? I also haven't used it in a while and I really like this product, so I thought it would pair really nicely with the Natasha Denona High-Gen Serum. I feel like the #1 reaction to the underconsumption trend is this even a trend? Isn't this just normal consumption, using something up before you buy something else? I would argue that it actually is a bit of a shift from how we've been spending our money over the past couple of years. Maybe not you specifically, but when you take a look at the data in 2020 and 2021, we, at least the beauty community in aggregate, again, in aggregate, maybe not you, we spent a lot of money on skincare and cosmetics. And I definitely was one of those people. I had money that I wasn't spending on vacation. I wasn't going out to dinner. I had all of this extra money that, yes, I did save some of that, but I had extra spending money and I was stressed. I was inside. I was bored and I was shopping. And a lot of people were too. And there were record sales in these categories for those particular years. For a lot of us, myself included, the postman showing up with a new eyeshadow palette was like the highlight of my day. Maybe the highlight of my week or the highlight of my month, depending on what I had purchased. Even with like handbags and stuff, I had the time to just kind of scroll around, find amazing vintage deals on the RealReal and Fashion File. And I did have a little bit of extra spending money than I would have otherwise if I had not been locked up in my home. So while yes, this should be normal consumption, you would hope that would be the case. Over the past couple of years, we actually have been spending quite a bit on fragrance, cosmetics, and skincare. So it's a little bit more of like a pendulum pendulum shift than you would think. And now 2 different things have happened. Number 1, which I feel like I don't even really have to mention, it is the cost of living crisis. Everything has gotten more expensive, especially things that we need, okay? Like our rent, the interest rates on our mortgages, groceries, clothes, everything has gone up. And for a lot of us, our salaries haven't really gone up at the same rate. So we might still have the same share of wallet, but a lot of these necessities are taking up a greater share of that wallet. And we just don't have as much to spend on these extra things. The second thing that I think is happening for a lot of us is that many of us are looking at our collections that we built up during that time when we were purchasing a lot of makeup and skincare, and we're thinking to ourselves, gosh, I have a lot of makeup. And I'm focusing this mostly on like makeup and luxury just because that's what my channel is all about. And a lot of us are looking at our collections and we're thinking, when was the last time I picked up this eyeshadow palette? And for me, it doesn't bother me as much because I have this channel. So yes, I have like hundreds of eyeshadow palettes, but it doesn't really overwhelm me because I use them for creating content. For me, it's kind of just like inventory. But if I was just a regular consumer, I think I would feel very overwhelmed by how much makeup I have. There's no way that I can use up all this makeup before it expires. And I think that I would also be thinking to myself, so maybe I should just use the eyeshadows that I have. Maybe I should take a look at my collection and really think, is this new release truly going to bring me joy? Is it going to be really that much different from something else that I have? Maybe there's something special out there that's limited edition or just a really cool color story, or maybe has an interesting artistic inspiration or something like that. But I think a lot of people are feeling kind of overwhelmed by their collections. And that's why we're seeing many people kind of go this minimalist route, because they're just tired. Like they can't keep up with it. They can't keep up with what they see on social media. It's unrealistic. And so I think a lot of people in general are just like pulling back a bit. Side note, I really like the combination of this foundation stick with the Natasha Denona serum, because the stick is very creamy and blendable, but the serum just is such a nice base to kind of help it glide onto the skin, especially if you want to sheer it out a little bit, if you want very, very light coverage. I have some breakouts up here, so I'm just adding a little bit more to my face today. By the way, I'm using this concealer from Say, once again, a product that I haven't used in a while, but that I really enjoyed when I first got it. So anyway, friends, that's one of the reasons why I think this has become a trend. I think it's a little bit of an economic shift. Yes, you would think that this would be normal consumption. It's a little bit more of a shift than you would think. I think the other thing as well is that we need to think about Gen Z, because for them, maybe not so much for us, okay, most of my subscribers are over the age of 30. I think specifically for Gen Z, this trend is fairly counterculture for them, especially as a generation that mostly consumes short form content. I don't have a ton of Gen Zers watching my channel specifically, but from what I know, most of them are on TikTok. Some of them are on Instagram. They're mostly consuming short form content. And I was reading an article in the Business of Fashion about underconsumption core, and I wanted to read you this quote. It says, the goal of this trend isn't necessarily to save money, but not wanting to engage in society's pressure to buy. And I can totally relate with that. I think that TikTok, again, like we see this on YouTube, but I think that TikTok is going through a phase, basically all of the same phases that YouTube has gone through. It's just delayed because it's a newer platform. TikTok started off, at least I think, as something a little bit more fun, more creative. People were making content that at least at the time was novel. But then of course, over time, as people got big, as people became famous, the platform became flooded with influencers trying to make a buck. And it really didn't help when they opened up the TikTok shop, because not only could people make money from like sponsorships and being famous, but now people can make money through the affiliate sales in the TikTok shop. And it's great if you're like a small business and, you know, maybe that's like a revenue channel, revenue stream for you. But it really does seem like this new generation, they're going through this phase where suddenly they are being inundated with people trying to sell them so many things. And it's gotta be even worse than YouTube, right? Because you're done with that content after a couple of seconds, usually less than a minute. If I have a sponsorship in a YouTube video, which I don't really do that many of, maybe it's like 2 minutes or so, but then you have, 20 more minutes within the video. You can watch another video that doesn't have a sponsorship in it. You can hear a little bit more about the product. You can actually get a sense for if I'm being genuine about a product. It's gotta be worse on TikTok when you're just just constantly scrolling and snacking on content to be hearing people promoting things constantly. So while some of us may be rolling our eyes at this trend, I think especially for Gen Z, this is a little bit more of a trend. It's a little bit more counterculture than you may think. And of course, you know, when you're young, you want to feel like you're part of a group. You want to feel like you are part of a trend. Everything is a trend on TikTok, even if it only lasts a week. And so I think that they're taking this pretty normal phenomenon and they're basically attaching it with this name so that it can be a trend, which they then will make content about, which they then will get likes and comments and engagement and whatnot from. It actually seems like this trend is a continuation of the trend that we saw last year, which was called de-influencing. And that trend was all about the influencers. Again, this was like mostly on TikTok, telling their viewers not to buy something. This product is overhyped. I actually don't like this product. This is what I don't like about this specific product. Imagine an influencer saying what they don't like about a product. Isn't that what a review is? Isn't a review supposed to be something where you say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, or what other people might not like? These are the considerations. I feel like one of the downsides of the short form content platforms is that as a user, like you're not really building a relationship with that content creator because you're just scrolling and like TikTok is just going to show you the next thing that they think you're going to watch. They're just trying to get you to stay on the app for longer. You might not be watching every single TikTok that one singular creator posts. And so as a creator, are you incentivized to create a TikTok, something that's like 30 seconds long about a product that you don't like? You're not going to sell anything. And also, people are not really going to notice that all of your TikToks are these like big sensational things that say how great this is. Like you're hoping that your TikTok goes viral, and your TikTok probably isn't going to go viral if you just say, oh, you know, I tried this concealer. It was pretty good. I got a little bit of creasing. It was fine, but not my favorite. Like that's not going to go viral. You are not incentivized to post that. On YouTube, I feel like it's a little bit different. Imagine if I came on here and in every single 20 to 30 minute video that I posted, I said, this is the greatest thing ever. You have to have this. Like it would be very clear that I was not being genuine. You guys would call me out. Maybe if it's a favorites video, if it's a favorites video, okay, I'm going to tell you, these are all of my favorites, sure. But if I'm doing a bunch of makeup reviews or like trying new makeup videos and I say that everything is great, that's not helping anybody. And you guys are going to notice. You can kind of weed out on YouTube a little bit better the people that are just saying it because they want you to purchase it. Does that make sense? And I've mentioned this before, but similar to how I think musicians are now creating their music to go viral on TikTok, to have that kind of like short form content feel, I think we're seeing a lot of brands create their products to be something that looks very sensational even within the first couple seconds. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the color changing makeup, why we're seeing a lot of like, I don't know, shiny lip glosses, things that look really good within a matter of seconds. And so we've just ended up with a lot of these like sensational TikToks about products. And I think that's why a lot of the people that are watching this style of content, they're like, this is too much. I can't keep up with all these viral products. It's not realistic for me to have all these things. Like I'm watching people do all these big unboxings and stuff. I can't live my life that way. I'm just tired of it. So I'm going to be cool and I'm going to underconsume. For my bronzer and contour, I'm going to be using this well-loved one from Wayne Goss. I don't think you can get this anymore. I will check and I'll link it down below if I can find it. I love this baby. I never get to use it because it's usually out of stock and I don't want to tease you guys. So enough about Gen Z, enough about TikTok. I now want to comment on the behavior of my subscribers specifically because I do have a data set of probably about 40,000 unique subscribers and Instagram followers. And I will say, like, I will be honest, guys, when I take a look at the data, I do see my subscribers spending less, but I think rather than the super minimalism, what I'm seeing from my subscriber base is more so being super picky about what you buy. If you're only gonna buy one thing, a lot of us just want the best of the best. We're expecting a lot more from brands. I'm seeing a lot of you guys saying no to new releases because you feel like the color story is very dupable, very repetitive. Maybe you're not super impressed with the packaging. Maybe you're not super impressed with the formula. You guys are looking for the very best packaging, the very best formula, and at a fair price. That's not to say that you're not willing to pay a decent amount for a release that you really like. You guys are just being a little bit picky, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If if you're somebody that truly loves luxury, just like me, if you like nice things and you're used to nice things, you don't stop liking nice things. It's just that you're probably gonna stop buying maybe some of the other things that are just not as good. There's things that we can live without, right? There's some brands where it's like, instead of buying 3 blushes from, I don't know, like Kosas and Patrick Ta, like some of those prestige brands, maybe you're just gonna buy 1 blush from Clé de Peau or like West Minutier, something that makes you feel super luxurious. So I see more of that from you guys. You're just being a lot more discerning and like thoughtful about the things that you're looking to purchase. And that actually kind of keeps me on my toes a little bit, because I need to then go out and find the best of the best for you guys, because just any old new release or some sort of like nostalgic collab just like isn't going to cut it for you. And if you take a look at the data, we are seeing that drugstore sales are down and prestige beauty sales are up. Sephora is killing it. Sephora is holding up LVMH right now. They've performed very well in 2023 and they're still performing really well in 2024. I think a lot of people who were purchasing drugstore are realizing that like people are still buying it, okay? There's some brands like e.l.f. that are really killing it, but I think that a lot of people are realizing that the drugstore prices have gone up. I've definitely noticed that. I went to CVS the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, $35 for a tub of CeraVe lotion? Like, it's absolutely insane. It was like $10 for a little pack of hair ties, and it wasn't even anything to write home about. It literally was just like hair ties, $10. Absolutely ridiculous. I think a lot of people are realizing that the drugstore prices have gone up, and so they're like, well, if this is gonna be $25, like, why don't I just go to Sephora and get something from one of the prestige brands? I don't know, Urban Decay or Rare Beauty, Patrick Ta, Kosas, Tower 28, Urban Decay, like all those brands that are sold at Sephora. Like, why not just get that? Why not just get something from Charlotte Tilbury than like a couple of things from the drugstore? And then similarly, we've discussed in my What's New in Luxury Beauty series, even in like the luxury sphere, a lot of people are going from kind of the prestige to luxury, like Chanel, for example, or even like designer fragrances to like ultra high-end fragrances. People are spending, they're just spending their money a little bit differently. I think people are going for quality over quantity. And even in more of like the prestige and luxury categories, we're seeing more consumers maybe spend a little bit less on the prestige brands and just save up to buy something from Chanel or Chantecaille or Dolce & Gabbana Beauty. Just one really nice thing with beautiful or cute packaging, something that, you know, you can wear all the time, that's just gonna work and be super effortless for you. I'm seeing a little bit more of that. We discussed in one of my episodes recently, What's New in Luxury Beauty, that we're seeing a boom in ultra high-end premium fragrance sales. Like, instead of people buying Valentino Born in Roma or like Chanel No. 5 or something like that, people wanna buy Creed, something like that. People are wanting those ultra high-end things. And then similarly, on like more of the fashion and bag side, I think a lot of people, like, they've realized that although the prices have gone up, the quality doesn't match the prices. And many people, myself included, are thinking to themselves, do I really want to buy from this brand anymore? Do I want to just save up for like Bottega or Hermes, brands that are really, really known for their quality? Loewe, like, some brands are doing really, really well right now. Not every single luxury brand is failing at the moment. Both in beauty and in luxury, we are seeing some brands performing, actually most brands performing under expectations, but there are some standout brands that are performing exceptionally well. Hermes is doing well, Miu Miu is doing super well, Prada is doing well, Loewe is doing well, Chanel is doing well, although Chanel is a very interesting brand. I feel like I could do an entire video about why people are so obsessed with Chanel. I think one of the reasons why Chanel does so well is because their stuff doesn't go on sale. You can't get Chanel makeup on sale, can you? I've never seen it on sale. And I think people know that. And I think that the brand just has so much luxury, prestige, and heritage that is built up over the years that so many people highly covet pieces from that brand. I mean, people were going crazy over like Chanel nail files last year, like literally a nail file file with the Chanel logo on it. Not to make fun of anybody who bought the nail file, okay? You do you, boo, but I'm just saying, like, Chanel's doing well because it's Chanel and because they have increased the prices. Not every brand can be Chanel. Burberry isn't doing very well. They tried to do what Chanel did by increasing the prices and acting like they were, you know, super hot. They're not doing well. Gucci is not doing very well. YSL is not doing very well. YSL actually just decreased the prices of some of their bags because they got greedy. They were like, oh yeah, we'll just increase the prices of everything. And people were like, no, it's a YSL bag. And I'm sorry, like YSL bags are great. And yes, it's luxury. And yes, it's like good quality and cute and all those things. YSL is not seen in the same light as like a Chanel and Hermes. And that's just how it is. I hear it all the time from my subscribers. A lot of consumers are waiting for a sale. The sales do drive sales. And a lot of these brands, they got rid of their discount codes. And then people were like, what the heck? I thought I was going to be able to get like 20% off. And this was going to feel like an amazing deal to me. And I think especially in the beauty category, a lot of the prices have gone up. Like they've been creeping up. We've all seen it, okay? It's like Dior palette, $60. Then it's like $62. Then it's like $64. Now it's like $65 or $67, $69. And then they come out with the limited edition ones and it's like $85, $90 for like a 5-pan eyeshadow palette. And I think a lot of the brands are doing this because they know that consumers are not going to purchase it unless there's a sale. And so they're like, okay, we'll just mark this up 20% to kind of, you know, be able to put this on sale at some time. And then the other people that are buying at a higher price, it's going to hopefully cover all of the extra costs. For blush, going in with Pat McGrath Desert Orchid, one of the best nude blushes of all time. I'm sorry I haven't used you in a while, Desert Orchid. You're so beautiful. I'm sorry for that. Anyway, guys, there is more competition between these brands now than ever, especially because a lot of us, like I said, we're being more picky. And it's interesting because I've seen brands react in, I think, one of two ways. Comment down below. Let me know if you agree, if you can think of any other ways. The first way is super duper neutral color stories, very wearable, something that it's like kind of hard for you to say, I can't see myself wearing that color story. And if the formula is good, then it's probably going to be something that you get a lot of use out of, and it's going to be a little bit more valuable to you. Think the Chantecaille Cheetah collection, for example, or even the YSL Mini Couture Clutch palettes. Those, like, the color stories are not groundbreaking, guys. They went super neutral. There's one blue palette, and it just became available in the United States like last week. Those palettes are very, very neutral. The formula is really good, and the packaging is really cute. I think they did a really good job, and I think that's why those palettes are selling so well. The other way that some brands have reacted is they are trying to get super creative. Like they're trying to bring us stuff that we have never seen before. And one of the brands that stands out for me is definitely Guerlain. Think about the Guerlain and Pucci collab. I'm not seeing anything like that on the market. Sure, the eyeshadow palette, the color story is a little bit wacky, but even their other collections like the Summer Denim, Summer Jean collection, that one was amazing. The holiday collection, like all of these have been very different, and they have been able to create colorful color stories that are actually really elegant and wearable. Like it's not just the packaging. I think that the products are really good too. I love the revamp of the little meteorites, which I have displayed right behind me. The packaging, the formula, the scent, like everything is so, so good. And you know, also Chanel to an extent, I feel like they're kind of pushing it a little bit with some more creative color stories, creative concepts. I can't say that their packaging is anything to write home about, but I have really liked some of their, I don't know, more like inspired, more creative collections recently. I think there are some Chanel consumers out there that feel like they're not being heard because, again, they're more in the camp of wanting like a neutral release, something that they can wear every day. But I don't know. I think Chanel is bringing something a little bit newer to the table, and they have plenty of other neutral makeup in their main line. And usually within their collections, there's like some things that are neutral and some things that are a little bit more colorful. So I think we're even seeing this from some of like the big brands that are performing well. Going in with the Westman Atelier highlighter in Peau de Pêche, a classic. I thought this would be good for kind of like a nice summery look. So even though as a makeup lover, I really appreciate the more interesting collections because I just have, you know, so many classic palettes like Tom Ford Nude Dip and all that kind of stuff already in my collection. I do see the neutral collections selling the best. Like hands down, those sell the best. Even when I take a look at Chanel, the Le Beige collection collection and also the Winter Glow collection, which was like a little bit colorful, but like nothing too crazy. I think that those are the two best-selling collections with my subscribers on my channel this year. When I take a look at the summer collection that Chanel did, which I actually think is the most interesting one, that one did not sell nearly as well. People are looking at, you know, a bronzer, blush, highlighter palette and thinking like, oh, this is very multi-purpose, this is very neutral, this is something I could get a lot of use out of. Yes, a lot of people complained about the price because it was a luxury price tag, but regardless, like the data speaks for itself. It sold incredibly well. I think that as a brand, if you can create kind of like a nice color story, maybe with some interesting finishes and toppers and like really nice luxe packaging for a decent price, okay, like nothing too outrageous, I think that's the formula for success, at least in this day and age, 2024. In addition to the neutral color stories, a lot of what we've been seeing as well is that many of the new expansion lines or expansion categories have been in the realm of kind of like easy, light, safe makeup. We're at a point right now where, again, this is like on average, the more mature generation and the younger generation kind of want similar aesthetics. Like usually the older we get, we kind of want like just easy, very effortless, softer makeup. And that's why a lot of us are willing to pay for the luxury formulas, because we just want something that works well. Like we shouldn't have to fuss with it. And it's like, you know, our skin gets a little drier, we have like some more lines and stuff, and we want things that aren't going to be super caked on. But actually, Gen Z wants the same thing. A lot of the new categories have been like glossy lipsticks or like skin tints, blushes, not as much eyeshadow, not as much like contouring. We are seeing like the soft matte foundation look come back, but I think it's in a much lighter and more breathable way than what we had in like 2016. I think that's interesting because that's definitely been influencing the new products and the new lines that have come out on the market. And because Gen Z is the generation that's, you know, more likely to try something new and maybe give up a product that they were using before, we're seeing a lot of kind of like young celebrities like, I don't know, Timothée Chalamet and Lily Rose Depp being the faces of Chanel. And I like to think of Chanel as a more kind of elegant, mature type of persona, but all of the models that they have for their makeup and even their skincare would say otherwise. I quickly did my brows off camera because I want to get to the eye look, but I want to let you guys know I used the Victoria Beckham Beauty Baby Blade. This is in the shade Taupe. I've never used this shade before, but I quite like it. I think it's good because I'm a little bit blonde right now. And then I went on top with the clear brow gloss, and I think it's a good combo. Comment down below, let me know what you think of this shade. For my eye look, I thought I would pull out a classic I have right here, Tom Ford Honeymoon, the one that they always repackage in limited edition packaging. But you know what, guys? It's a classic for a reason. It is a really beautiful color story, and I like to use this one a lot in the summertime. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, if I may, how I feel about this trend and kind of what it's like from the influencer's perspective. I must admit, when I heard about this trend, I felt a little bit frustrated, and not necessarily because people are buying less and then that means I have to be like a little bit more, you know, creative with my content and that kind of stuff. And once again, I think it's good. It keeps me on my toes because I really have to find the best of the best for you guys. But the thing that's frustrating is that I still don't see people watching shop my stash videos. Like, I will truly believe that this is a trend if people start watching videos where I'm using old products like these. I love to make those style of videos, but I just don't make them that often simply because they just don't get as many views. And if I only have a certain, you know, number of hours to be able to work in the day and to edit videos and stuff, I'm probably not going to make a shop my stash video. It's going to be just a better return on my investment of time and also, you know, money buying products and all that kind of stuff to do a new makeup video or commenting on new makeup. I'm still seeing new makeup videos perform the best on YouTube. And actually, it's kind of taken a little bit of a different turn that doesn't really match so much alongside the underconsumption core, because I feel like a lot of the videos that are performing well right now are either commentary videos like this one, maybe like dramatic ones like spilling the tea or like reacting to something, or it's the style of video that's like, I tried 50 skin tints and here is the best one, or like I tried every, I don't know, mascara at Sephora and here's what I learned. And again, I'm not complaining complaining, guys. I'm just telling you like what I'm seeing, and I would love to hear what you think. Not complaining at all. Very grateful for you guys and this platform and whatnot. But it's almost like we're expecting the influencer to overconsume on the consumer's behalf. I think a lot of people are very overwhelmed. There's so many products that are launching because the brands are just like fighting for our attention week after week with all of these new releases. I do think people are overwhelmed and they're just kind of searching for clarity. And then of course we're making these videos and there's people that are coming up in the comments and being like, this is so wasteful, or like so much overconsumption. Like you always get those couple people that are like calling you hoarders and whatever. And it's like, well, I'm just trying to create a helpful, wholesome video about bronzers or whatever. And then of course it can get a little bit boring when you see the same kinds of products perform well over and over and over. Like it's not always the products that I'm the most excited about that perform well. Sometimes there's a really interesting or creative collection. But again, and I don't blame people, just because you might only have a certain budget, people are mostly just buying neutral eyeshadow palettes, and it can get a little bit difficult, or not, it's not difficult, okay? It's not difficult, boring. It can get a little bit boring and sometimes monotonous to talk about like the same neutral eyeshadow palettes over and over. And that's why I do think you see some makeup creators going a little bit more into like the lifestyle route, or like creating vlogs just to kind of break it up a little bit, because it can get very monotonous to do the same thing over and over. And sometimes we get overwhelmed as well, just like constantly buying new things. Like I'm constantly organizing and cleaning up my room and trying to like get all my makeup in check, labeling things so like I know what I have. And I try and not buy too much, and I really try not to accept a lot of PR, but it can get a little bit overwhelming and it can get a little bit monotonous. I do think that specifically in the luxury niche on YouTube, and probably a little bit more so with like the fashion creators than like makeup, I do see a lot more creators, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, going more of like that minimalist route. And while I think that some of them are just kind of going through life changes and they're being perfectly genuine, I also do think that part of it is because of this trend, because people are just maybe finding their content to be not quite as relatable. And again, over the past couple of years, like luxury had a boom. A lot more people were interested in learning about luxury, figuring out what to buy, watching unboxings, hearing about, you know, what is new. People pick up hobbies and drop hobbies all the time. And there are people like myself who, no matter what, like even if I don't have the budget to like buy a Birkin or whatever, I still enjoy like an Hermes shopping vlog or an unboxing. I still like to watch luxury content. Like if I find it unrelatable, I really don't care, because I actually like fashion and I like looking at those things. And it doesn't make me feel like, you know, it doesn't make me feel less than, like I'm grateful for the things that I have. But I think that the people who are starting to maybe feel uncomfortable or sort of calling out luxury creators as being unrelatable, I think that some of those people are dropping off, which is totally fine. And as a result, I think a lot of those creators that maybe were getting more engagement previously are thinking to themselves, okay, like maybe I need to switch gears and do something that works better. So as a result, I'm seeing fewer favorites videos, fewer hauls, fewer handbag reviews, those kinds of things, like what's in my bag. And we're seeing more like dramatic commentary videos, a lot of talk about like what's wrong with luxury, like can't we all get together and commiserate over the increase in prices. We're seeing a lot of like, don't waste your money on this, buy this, this, and that. It's a little bit more of like this negative connotation almost, or we're seeing kind of more like minimalist styling videos. We're seeing the quiet luxury trend, more like simplistic outfits. Neutral eyeshadow palettes is just the quiet luxury trend of the beauty industry. I'm gonna add a little bit of this Chanel Yo Waterproof liner. This is in the shade Cassis. I love this liner with this eyeshadow palette because it has a really nice purpley tone that pairs well with the kind of like Merlot burgundy colors in the Tom Ford palette. I don't think that the underconsumption trend and luxury necessarily need to be at odds. When you take a look at my channel, I don't review what I review and show you guys what I show you because I want you to buy every single product. I'm showing you swatch comparisons and telling you the pros and cons and what I think about a product, or showing you my favorites so that you can make that decision for yourself. You can decide if that's gonna work for you. Is that gonna be worth your money? And then maybe eventually you might decide to get it. And if you like it, then I've done my job. I don't think that these like necessarily have to be at odds. I think that the fewer but better mentality is a good thing, especially if you're gonna be purchasing like a luxury handbag or a good quality outfit or something. With makeup, it's a little bit, you know, like easier to treat ourselves if it's like a $50 eyeshadow palette compared to maybe like a $2,000 handbag or something like that. At times I have been bullied on my channel for showing expensive items, maybe like a $100 eyeshadow palette or a $1,000 pair of luxury shoes or a handbag or something like that. But at the end of the day, this is a luxury channel and I'm reviewing luxury products because I get that they're expensive. I understand that many of us, this is a considered purchase. And so, yeah, sometimes I do have to overconsume a little bit. I do have to buy all of the Chanel foundations to tell you which one is the best. I'm not gonna react to this trend by reviewing like drugstore makeup or doing like Amazon fashion dupe hauls or showing you guys fast fashion or something like that. And sometimes I do get requests for that, but unfortunately, it's not really something I'm passionate about. Like what I'm passionate about is helping you guys have fun with luxury and makeup and finding things that you absolutely adore and treasure. And hopefully that will last you a pretty long time and just kind of bring joy to your day when you use those products. I just popped on a little bit of the Esum mascara, very nice and volumizing. And for my lips, I think I'm gonna go in with this Chanel lip gloss that I got in the holiday set this past year. I'm sorry I don't remember the name, but it's number 722. They don't have the name on here, but it's a really nice kind of like nude gloss. I'll find the name and I'll list it down below. All these products will be linked in the description box along with the shades. Don't feel pressure to buy them if you're under consuming, but I do like all these. All right, and this is the final look. Comment down below and let me know what you think. In summary, friends, I guess what I'm saying is that I kind of like this trend. I like this trend. I do think it kind of fits the vibe of my channel. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you think this is like the silliest thing ever. Let me know if you enjoyed this commentary. And also, if there's any other trends or commentary videos that you want to see on my channel, definitely let me know down below because I love making these for you. And you know I always got a lot to say, okay? I always got a lot to say, and I can also do more of like this shop my stash kind of style of get ready with me if you want to see me use some old products. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.